The summit brought together various stakeholders in the technological space as there were talks and conversations about Web3. Del Titus Bewa is co-founder of Web3 Accra, the organizers of the summit.
The objective for Web3 Accra is basically to create awareness in the Web3 space amongst the youth, and not just the youth, but those who are curious about the space. We also want to serve as an incubator and a place of trust between policymakers and the Web3 community in Ghana. We need to be where the ball is going to be, not where the ball is today. So it's very, very important that we prime our future right through the youth, and we have to look at what's going on around us in terms of technology and innovation. And it's clear that blockchain is here to stay. You know, big companies like Meta are investing heavily in the metaverse, right? And so it's just a matter of time. And so for Ghana's youth and future to be secure in technology, it is very important that we position our youth through education.
Some other stakeholders present also spoke to Metro News about the Web3 space.
Right, 70% of the population is under the age of 35. We have high mobile phone penetration, right? And we have a booming tech scene. Africa's startups raised $5 billion last year, right? So this has created the perfect environment for cryptocurrency to thrive. Right? In Africa, we do not have the time to build 1,000 ATMs. Right. So what we can do is focus on the future and use that future to help us develop.
For us, being here in Ghana is an opportunity to meet artists that are from the global community and doing great work.
I think it's important to participate in Web3 because many people were left out of the Web2 era. So this is an opportunity for many to get in at the ground level and also being able to be part of the next wave of technology and advancements.
Web3 has become the new digital experience which involves individuals' control of data and decentralized record keeping.
Okay, so welcome back from the break, and of course that was the Web3 Summit that took place last week, yes, at the Accra International Conference Center. And this is a whole space that we're trying to understand what exactly it is about. A lot of people are trying to wrap their heads around, including myself, trying to understand what the Web3 is about. We're talking about crypto, blockchain, NFT, all of those things. And so this one joined us two very great personalities that I don't want to butcher the names, so I'm going to just look here and call the names as I see here. Ghoneim is founder, CSO of Arts Help. He is also a tech person. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. You said it right.
Okay, great. I didn't butcher that one. I'm hoping this one I don't do that. Adiam Gafoo is also Chief Operating Officer at Arts Help. Good morning and welcome also.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Again, so last week, we were talking about Web3. Generally, what are some of the thoughts that you hear from people about Web3? You're like, no, that's not true.
It's interesting. We hear a lot of different thoughts. There's a lot of big buzzwords that are being used. And we are finding that people just are very interested, but they're entering in this space because they feel like the pressure to enter, because there's a lot of conversation around it. And I think for us, what we're trying to do is educate people, and that's why we're here in Ghana, because it is a very interesting time right now in the Web3 space. And like you said, there's a lot of big conversations happening. So it's how do we take these complex topics and these big buzzwords and simplify it for people so they can understand it first before rushing and trying to get into it.
Great. Adiam, what was the first time you heard about Web3? I mean, I heard about it just, I think, last 2 weeks or so.
The first time I heard about Web3, I think, was probably 2013, 2014.
What?
Yeah.
2013?
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah. But, I think for me, like Mo was saying, you hear a lot of buzzwords, but you don't think too much of it until it becomes a little bit more mainstream and you don't necessarily participate. So I think that for us specifically, it's really important to try to bring people into this space while there's still a lot of growth happening.
Okay. So let's now get into Web3 proper, the breakdown of it. I know someone had tried to explain to me that there's a Web 1, then there's Web 2, which we're currently in, and then there's Web 3, which will be the future, or which is the future, well, now and the future. Break it down for us. Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3.
Right now, when we look at like Web3, it's an opportunity where you're seeing engagement from different people, whether it's from developers, whether it's from artists, creators, and they're able to enter this decentralized world where you can build a universe of your own. You can monetize in a way that is just limitless and without all the barriers, the typical barriers that you would have. And for us, Africa is such an important continent. It is the second largest continent, and the opportunities here are endless. And we're finding a lot of interesting developments happening in the Web3 space. Everything from banking to the creative industries and the way that young talents are able to monetize. Adiam, do you want to add into that?
I think Web3 is really big on autonomy. It's the ability to make your own choices, to have control over your own information, to have control over your finances, over your intellectual property. And it's really just about being able to take control back from systems that generally don't work for you and don't generally work for people that look like us.
Okay, so if I understand that Web3 is more of you owning what you have.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
It's you being able to own what you have, but also you're controlling it in a way that you can control how it grows and how you want people to perceive it.
Okay, so as you came to Ghana, I'm part of the Web3 summits and even the interactions that you have with people. What do you think the future is like for, I mean, you talked about Africa, that the concentration now is not, because most of us here, we are now hearing this for the first time. So what's the thing that you're doing to make sure that a lot of people do get into it? But even before that though, I want to ask about the blockchain, crypto. Are they all under the Web3 umbrella?
They are. So basically what we launched something called Conscious Crypto Creator. And that's something that we're very passionate about. And basically it's an education program, it's free. And it's everything Web3 related from a sustainability lens. Because we go into environmental impacts of Web3, how to engage responsibly, the difference between proof of stake and proof of work. We get into some of the buzzwords. We even get into the education about the legal side when we talk about smart contracts. And it's an opportunity, it's free, it's on our website, and it's an opportunity for someone like you who's maybe interested in the space or entering the space to really get into it and watch these mini masterclasses that are very short, digestible, and allow you to really consume content based on what you really need to know as an entry point. And we find that in the space in general, there's so much information out there on the web that you could get lost and discouraged if you were to just Google what is Web3, right? So what we've done is we've created this curriculum where it starts from the beginning all the way to kind of the very end in a very short, easy, digestible way. Adiam, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing about what we do is we don't assume people's education levels. I think that it's unfair for us to come into any situation and expect people to understand, some of those buzzwords that you were talking about, Web3, what is blockchain, what is crypto, all those things are different. And it's really important for us to kind of meet people where they are. So sometimes when we have conversations and we're just kind of rambling off, we don't necessarily know that people, understand those words. And so what we do is, we kind of bring it back to the basics. What is blockchain? What is a wallet? What is a hot wallet? What is a cold? Just the very basic buzzwords, because for us, education is power. And so when people are able to have these conversations and understand even just the basic lingo, they're able to actively participate and learn.
What would be the advantage for someone to be part of this Web3 thing? Because, we all want to see what we can get from whatever that we find ourselves getting into. So what's the advantage of being on Web3, on the blockchain and the crypto and all of those things?
I think there's a lot of different opportunities, and it depends on how you're engaging in the space.
Okay.
So we come from a creative lens, and we look at it from a creative lens. So for example, if you are a creative individual, and when we think about art, it's not just a painting on the wall, it's not just an illustrator. You can be a musician, you can be an animator, a videographer, a storyteller like yourself. So those are all different opportunities that you can engage, and the way that we find opportunities for talents and creatives is to really own their own work and to monetize from it without any of the barriers that were there before. So you can actually digitalize your work, you can set a price on it, and then you could actually NFT. And we've created a lot of different utilities. We launched an app where the app is actually a utility where you can, if you're not an artist, you can still create your own NFT, publish it, and monetize from it. And we've seen a lot of amazing, artists from the continent. We've had over 110 countries that have participated in our program. And some of my favorite projects have come out of Africa. So it's really interesting to see the opportunities, I think, for creatives is to monetize, own their own work, have a level of transparency that typically isn't available. And it's also removing all the barriers from a gallery, for example, commissioning from your work, or any of the other barriers that an artist would typically, or a creative person would go through. And I think ownership is really important, and this is the era for ownership.
Okay, Adiam, how does one start with the Web3? How do you begin? Do you just get online and type Web3, log in, you put your details in there, and you start like that?
I think, you can do that, absolutely.
Okay.
To be honest, I think it's really important, and I think I've said this before, it's, understanding the basics. Web3 encompasses so much. It encompasses blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, the metaverse. It encompasses a lot. And so I think it's really important to educate yourself on different aspects of it first. Understanding the words. If you don't understand what the words are, you can't really build upon your education. So I think the first couple things, and for us, that's why we created our curriculum. It's super easy. It's free to everybody. It's just kind of understanding that. And I think finding your niche. So, whatever you're interested in, there's a part of Web3 that is aligned with what you're interested in. So whether that's gaming, whether that is art, whether that is finance, all of that is included in Web3.
Okay, so you'd have to go in there and understand. It's a whole lot. I think I'll just do
the basic words.
That myself.
Yeah.
Start with the fundamentals, right?
Okay.
There's all of these keywords, and even a simple search, Web3 keywords and definitions.
They'll all pop up.
They'll all pop up. And I think starting again and knowing some of the keywords and the definitions are really helpful. What we noticed in this space, what's really interesting is a lot of people are doing self-education.
Okay.
And a lot of people are self-taught. And we're seeing more and more official programs and curriculums like ours launch, and even some universities are offering it virtually and online courses. But a lot of the experts in this field that we've come across and that we collaborate with have been self-taught over the years. So there's a lot of information out there, but again, our goal is to try to simplify it, to try to make it digestible and have it all live in one place.
Okay. Well, if you just tuned in, you're watching the Morning Rush Monday edition. We're talking about Web3. Like I said earlier, I'm sure you must have heard it somewhere, or you're still trying to break it down like myself. And just as Adiam said, you need to take your time and understand the fundamentals before you get in there. In a bit, we'll be wrapping it up. Just want to take the final thoughts about it. And is this safe? Is Web3 safe? Because when someone explained to me, Web 1 was when you couldn't interact with anybody, Web 2 was now the Instagram, all of those platforms we find ourselves in, regulated by someone, and there's Web 3, which is you are putting your stuff out there. How safe it is it actually putting your data out there and hoping that nobody will be able to get into it?
I think like anything online, there's always the dangers and there's always the risks if not done correctly.
Okay.
So we've seen all types of different scenarios, and it is a new space.
Okay.
So there is also vulnerability that comes with the new space. So depending on what you're doing, I think it is really important to work with the right developers. And that's something that makes a huge difference for any project, whether you're launching your own financial institution or whether you're launching your NFT drop. Working with the right developers that can help set your contracts, that can develop and program your releases, I think that is probably one of the most essential things.
Okay. Wrapping it up, Adiam, Artel, tell us about it, what you guys have been working on, because I know you're not in Ghana. So just tell us about Artel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Arts Help is one of the largest digital art publishers in the world. We publish across over 200 pages and we have over 21 million followers. And what we do with that is we engage them in social causes. We use the UN Sustainable Development Goals as a framework for everything we do, which is programming and publishing. And we use our social assets as well as our distribution models to be able to bring people and artists into the spaces that normally they can't get into.
Okay.
It's really important for us to provide access and information, education and resources through the creative lens for our community.
And our overall belief is that art can change the world. Art is more than just a pretty painting on the wall. It has the ability to speak this universal language. It can bring people from different walks of life together. So it is a catalyst for social change. And that's what we try to showcase with the work that we do and the programming and the publishing that we work on.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great having you talk about Web3 and also the work that you have been doing. So that was Ghoneim and also Adiam Gafoo. Yes, from Arts Help, Canada, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all the way from Canada. They were in the country, to do a few things during the Web3 summit that took place last week. So this is where I wrap up the conversation. Obviously, in the coming weeks, we'll be delving more into this NFT, crypto, blockchain, Web3 space so that we could understand and get to, benefit from that also. Many thanks for watching us this morning. We're back from the weekend. My name is Desmond Okrekudan, so you can call me Desifade in the Star. Of course, I was doing this with Nanaya Tamabuachi. Big shouts to the production team led by Josiah Top. And also big shouts to Neofit who came in earlier to make sure that we are fit for the week.